Welcome to the Draft Brewery. This is Chris, aka Dr. Chris Baker DC. We're doing a little video series here about replay analysis of the round 4 Gauntlet matches that Brennan was piloting with my decks. And I just want to try to show you my thoughts on lines of play that I would have had and some commentary that I had. I watched these matches 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I don't really remember exactly what happened, so I'll try to be objective as possible and not results oriented. So I'm just going to have his commentary muted and just play along and see what happens. So we see we won the die roll, which is good. So this deck is Loyal Boros, basically just trying to play Loyal Boros, haste creatures, curve out. Now, against the Gauntlet, an unknown name, so I really don't know what they're playing against. I think this hand is totally reasonable and fine, and I think I remember him kind of complaining that if they just kill one Loyal Boros, Loyal Pegasus here, per se, then this hand's awful. But in reality, until we see what we're playing against, being able to attack for 4 on turn 3 and then going off after that is totally reasonable. Drawing a mountain is the worst top deck that you could possibly have right there, but that's fine. A little pump fake on the attack there. Because, like, look at our opponent. If he's on Boros too, he's probably going to play a creature here. And then take 4. Yeah. Okay, so when you see Hopeful Eidolon, probably the Ethereal Armor style. Yep. So, these decks are why I run for main deck Keening Apparition now, basically. I don't think at this point in the Gauntlet I was running all 4 main. I might have only had 2. As you can see, yeah, that's a sick play. We had Evasion, so he couldn't even block with his Lifelinker, and the removal spell to 2-for-1 him. His best play would have been land Oromancer to get it back, but he doesn't have it. Wow. We just brown him for 8, half of his life total with God's Willing backup right now. There's no way we possibly lose. So this hand didn't really take that much work to be an absolute beating. So basically, he's, dead on board if he gets hit with for 6 and we shock him. And if he goes for a removal spell or a blocker for our ground guy, we just, if he taps out for like a 1 color or 1 creature, we just go right past it. That would be a tough one. See right here, I would upkeep God's Willing my Minotaur pro red, and then shock him for the win. That way, what the heck? Okay. He's not actually dead that turn because he's at 8 and you put him to 6 instead. Why don't you just God's Willing your red creature and then actually shock him? Does not matter because you're so far ahead, but those are the little edges that I try to get. Yeah, so see, in my build I was only running 2 Keening Apparition main. What is he doing? If Brennan has one weakness, it's sideboarding. I'm gonna pause here real quick. I think the biggest thing that I could offer in terms of some constructive criticism is help on sideboarding. So going over the actual sideboard and what are cards used for, from left to right. Beckon Apparition is very important against Auramancer and Archaeomancer. This deck we're playing against right now very well could have Auramancer, but we don't care that much because they're not slowing us down and getting into the late game. Against a deck with Archaeomancer, or like an Esper deck with Auramancer, enchantments like Quiet Sickness that are killing your guys, that's when you want to break up their engine with Beacon Apparition. Celestial Flare slows down our deck, but it's the only way to answer hexproof creatures. So I like to play a deck with Glade Cover, Scout, and then all the Bestow creatures. And if you don't have Celestial Flare, you can't beat it, because your guy will eventually just become huge. There'll be Leaf Crown Dryad, Hopeful Eidolon, Ethereal Armor, and you just have to race it, or hope you have like a deck with Aqueous Form to get through it. Chandra's Outrage deals with Gatekeepers, specifically like from Bug Defenders. It deals with 4 toughness guys, so when Lightning Strike doesn't kill anything relevant, this Chandra's Outrage, like, again, against decks that are going long, decks that are slowing us down and making our 2/2s and 3/1s and 3/2s just do nothing. Those are when we want to be able to represent, again, extra 2 damage for every spell, so that could be extra 8 damage, and it can kill everything from Ogre Jailbreaker to Nivix Cyclops to all the Gatekeepers and Doorkeeper. Mnemonic Wall, all that. Electricity is basically there for some of the white aggro decks, and especially like the red aggro decks that have a Crone Crusader. Gotta kill all those 1/1s somehow. Keening Apparition is for any decks with Oromancer and the Eidolons and Ethereal Armor. So for this matchup, all we really saw was Spear Point Oread, Hopeful Eidolon, Ethereal Armor. What would you do? What would I be doing? Boarding in the other 2 Keening Apparition. They make it so he can't get a board advantage. Just like easiest inclusion ever. So he's bringing in Shocks. Shocks are also fine, but you don't need more of them. Keening Apparition is both proactive and deals with their guys. If anything, Lightning Strike does the same thing as Shock, and it deals more damage, and it's not like the mana matters. Especially because, he goes Hopeful Eidolon into Ethereal Armor, Shock is now a blank. So, don't really agree on bringing in Shock, don't really agree on getting rid of Keening Apparition. So this hand's an obvious mulligan, 1 land. This hand's pretty bad. He kept it. I'm very mulligan averse, so I probably would have kept it too and just would have hoped to draw some gas. Huh. Turn 1 Mountain Leave Up Shock is interesting. That's actually pretty good against Ethereal Armor if he goes for it. And since you have no 2-drops with haste, there's no real point to playing Loyal Pegasus on 1, so I can get behind that. I would still leave Shock open right now. There's no point to, play it. Okay, well, I basically drew 2 of the worst cards in a row. Our opponent doesn't have anything good in play yet, so we're fine. This is like, again, if we have like 4 haste creatures on the top of our deck, it's just a very easy game to win. So, we're drawing very live now with lots of haste creatures. We have 12. Legionnaire, Skull Cleaver, Logic, or Viashino First Blade. So we can potentially crash for 4 or 6 if we hit. Boom, 6. Like, that's perfect. Like, what's he gonna do? Not attack us? No. Alright, this tells us he doesn't have Shock or Lightning Strike because he could have killed our First Blade. He could have Celestial Flare. Fall of the Hammer. Oh, that's not that bad. It would have been nice if we could have held open Shock. But there's no way we could have. So it's interesting to know that he has Fall of the Hammer now. That makes our instant speed removal even better. since we can hold it open at opportune times. Yeah, so he's kind of nugging us for 2. Our life total is totally safe, though, because we can hit his down faster. We just have to draw and gas. God's Willing is a not very good draw. So at this point, we're losing the race by attacking. I would not be attacking. This turned out to be playing a gate, since there's absolutely no reason to have 4 mana open. We already have enough mana. I don't know what he's thinking about. Just gonna skip ahead here. He plays not the gate, for whatever reason. Okay. He agrees with me, we're not trying to attack. This is such a good play, because now if he wants to attack, he has to play Ethereal Armor on his creature, or he has to play Madcap Skills, or whatever. Oh, or Pacifism. Okay. I personally would... No. Ugh. Opponent is... Oh my gosh. Opponent is tapped out. He thinks Pacifism lands. You let it resolve. You let him attack with both. You eat his Hopeful Eidolon for free. What the heck? You don't need to shock it right there. Okay, so he's shocked because it lets the 2/2 Viashino First Blade attack without being double blocked, at which point it would trade. So he just chumps to save damage anyway here. Oh my gosh. Thing is, you could still have shock in your hand and just have eaten his guy when he pacifisms. So you're down a shock for absolutely no reason. Another pacifism, maybe we'll be given a chance to redeem ourselves. Our Syndicatize is very good in this spot because we already have multiple white mana, which means we can extort on every single spell that we draw from now on, making it pretty near impossible for the red-white deck to come back. The only tricky thing is that our opponent's been stuck at 2 mana this whole time. He's probably got like multiple Spear Point Oread stuck in hand. Another pacifism. Okay, so he thinks he's the control deck. He's trying to slow us down. Okay, we're just drawing the worst. You should actually play the Boros Guild Gate here. It should have been in play already, but I just don't know why he wouldn't play it. There's nothing we're doing with the mana, and getting additional white mana into play might be nice when we're trying to extort off of white spells. I guess it really doesn't matter though, because nothing's double white. Oop, now it matters, because we can extort twice with Syndic. So now you better play that. You better play that Guild Gate. The fact that you're bluffing a card in hand does not do anything. If he has something, he's going to go for it. You're down to your last card in hand. So now, when we play, or when we draw a card, and it has a white symbol in it, we can't extort twice. For close to absolutely no reason. Okay, so he's got the Auramancer. Targets Nyxborn Shieldmate. Alright, that is like not a big deal. Especially when he could have targeted Hopeful Eidolon. He just totally gained a million life. Alright, so alright, let's count them. That's 1 point of damage we missed. So he should be 10 to 18. Let's see if we can keep track. Oh no! Oh, now we want that guild gate in play, which had no value. There's no way we're attacking because our syndics represent infinite extort, and you can trade with Oromancer if you could. I don't know what are you even thinking about? It's pass, man. Alright, so potentially best case scenario, we can attack with all three with like God's Willing protection. Our 3/2 gets first strike and we're looking good. He's gonna shield mate some. Oh my gosh. I don't know why he would do that. Like he obviously drew the God's Willing anyway. Ooh, this is a risky attack. Basically, if I was the opponent and had shock in hand, you just... What the heck is he doing? Oh my gosh, our opponent is just so bad. He must not have shock in hand. We just block with the Oromancer. When we go to God's Willing because we don't want to trade, we just shock in response. So we know he doesn't have shock. He probably has another Oromancer. If he's so willing to just throw away a 1/2. Like, why would you do that? Wow, double God's Willing. Alright, this time he goes for the trade with Oromancer. I'm suspecting he should have something like Lightning Strike up. Oh my gosh. You only want to extort once here. It's actually really important to beef open your God's Willing. See, he can actually still cast this. Alright, you're lucky. You're lucky our opponent is bad and didn't wait for the extort triggers to resolve and you actually paid the mana. Because you showed that you were willing to pay the mana to just straight extort. So our opponent is trying to trade 2 Oromancer Falling Hammer for Syndic God's Willing, but we have the third God's Willing, or the second God's Willing in order to trump it. So basically save our guy, give him pro white. What? Oh my goodness. Is our guy gonna die? Okay, good. Okay. We gave it protection from red for no reason. That was interesting. Well, the hammer has the creature deal damage, so all we needed was pro white. I guess when the second one resolves, maybe he chose pro red for some reason. So here's where you gotta be worried about Celestial Flare. But he could only cast 1, so you might as well attack. Another thing that see, it's such a problem to lose. What? Alright, you're getting use of your extorts. I understand that, but that's a little bit of a spew, I think. Because our opponent's not dead, and we have no cards in hand. All he needs to play is like... Oh, he's down to 1? Okay, so for 1 he should already be dead. Because we missed the extort because of the Boros Guild Gate earlier, so... Okay. He's dead if we draw any spell, right? I definitely remember this. We brick, yep. I was like, oh, we played really bad, but it didn't matter. Because any spell when he's dead, right? Let's see where this takes us. Another play I would have considered, instead of wasting both of our God's Willings, is Why don't we give our 3/2 protection from white, get that pacifism to fall off, and attack? Oh gosh. Double electricity. Oh my goodness. Okay, so he's dead to any haste creature, any burn spell. Okay, worst possible draw. So yeah, definitely God's Willing 3/2, like immediately. Again, do it on your upkeep, so that you can control a draw step and basically draw a card if you hit a land. Attack with the 3/2 in both of the 2/2s. He's got 3 cards in hand. He's probably got Celestial Flare or Fall the Hammer. Let's see what he has. He's got, yeah, Flare. So what's interesting, he did already use 1 Flare, but he's shown to be sided into like a control deck. It's not unreasonable to think that he has double Celestial Flare in hand, in which case he can only flare 1 per turn, which means, okay, so we drew a land anyway, so it didn't necessarily matter, but think about it like this. Our life total is so high and he's only hitting us for 2 a turn, we're in no rush to kill him. He has to keep attacking, which means he can't lead back blockers. So, if the only relevant spells in his hand are double Celestial Flare, if we hold on to our Minotaur, Skull Cleaver, and then draw another haste creature, we can play them both in the same turn, and then he's dead. Or, we could draw another Syndic of Ties, and then just extort, and then he's dead. So those lines ultimately like don't matter, or at least aren't relevant to this game, but they could have been, and it's close. Like our opponent could still have Celestial Flare in hand right now, and we could have 2 guys attacking this turn, and it doesn't matter. Why? Because he has a first striker that we can't attack past. Now, why in the heck would you play the guy there? You're doing the classic no attack, no block. You're not attacking. You can't attack into the first striker. You're not blocking. You can't block the first striker. And you're letting him know you drew a creature, so he's not attacking with both guys. If you hold it in your hand, what's going to happen? He's going to attack with both guys, and if he doesn't have a creature or removal spell, he's dead. Alright, the way he's played out his hand, it's very, very, very likely that he does have at least 1 removal spell in hand. But again, if you're not going to attack or block, don't show him you have the creature. Now he just gets to hold his 2/2 back and completely brick our offense. So like, this is like getting to be tilting. If he has like another first striker, he gets to attack with both. Because I'm certain he has a removal spell. What are we doing? This has got to be the worst play I've ever seen. You know he's got to have a removal spell. He quit playing land pretty early. Because think about it, he attacks with 1 guy. If we attack with both, he's dead. If he has no removal spell, he can't attack. So he has at least 1 removal spell. So thank you for the pump fake on that block. That was a good read. This is also good to do. 4 pacifisms in the bin, 2 electric reads. How many Celestial Flares? 2. Again, the way this game played out, if our opponent just would have got back that Hopeful Eidolon with his Armancer, he'd be totally fine. If he just put 3/3 and had a 3/3 first strike lifelink and was attacking with that every turn, it'd be fine. Shifting Shadows. This went bad fast. Yeah, this is crazy. I'm kind of interested in what Shifting Shadows is implying. What went bad? The fact that you should not even be in this game at all, but you're like catching up. I don't know what he means. Anyway, this is a no attack play. It's obvious he has a removal spell. Now, you actually gain a lot of information next turn, depending on if he attacks. If he attacks, then he has 2 removal spells. Yeah, so you wonder, he has something that's like painfully obvious. Yeah, see, the problem is if we test his theory, he eats our 3/2 first strike, plays removal on our 2/2, and then what? You have Loyal Pegasus that doesn't do anything, and we're getting 2 attacks. What's that say? Cluck, cluck? What does that even mean? It's not duck, duck. Is he like... He's trying to like say you're a chicken? Like, bark, bark? Chicken? What? Is he... we're not psychotic. Like... We're not just, sending our minotaurs and... swordsmen into the slaughter, where you just like, your guy's just perched on the, what the heck? Triple block. Oh my gosh. What the heck? And the opponent's mad? What the heck? Alright, well... Our opponent kills our 3/2 with first strike. If our opponent... dude. Just think if our opponent had Titan Strength. Oh my gosh. Did he just 3-for-1 us? One day... Oh my gosh. Or 3-for-1. He showed Electricity, but holy crap. That's like unreal. And it 4-for-2'd us earlier. Although he had passivisms on a bunch of our guys already, but Titan Strength just eats all of our guys, but even then I guess you have to block because he puts our life a little too low. Well, our opponent is still dead to literal any spell. So he's kind of in... what? I think, you know what I think? This attack, I think, signifies Celestial Flare. In the sense that, oh my gosh. Or Lightning Strike. So if we don't block, then we're just dead to Lightning Strike. But he's just dead if he doesn't have it. I think he has Celestial Flare, though, with that type of attack, if I had to guess. Haste creature, and it flies. Right, so this creature is dead. It's just guaranteed dead. It's either flared, I'm guessing flare. It'd be interesting. If it was Lightning Strike, then Brennan actually made a really good block to just not die. Nope, but it's Flare. So in that sense, if he doesn't have the strike, the block is pointless. We go to 3, play Legionnaire, extort for 1 game. Instead, we are still in top deck mode and we're going to 1. This is like unreal how close this game is. Both people just misplaying all over the place. Get there! Get there! Are you serious? I thought we won this game. I thought we top deck like a burn spell and then get them. Are you kidding me? He stabilized at 1 life. You've gotta be kidding me. Let's see. Have we learned our sideboarding mistake? Oh my god. Why the hell would you bring in Celestial Flare? Oh my goodness. I like taking out Loyal Pegasus because he has Electricity. Oh my gosh. Halberdiers are good though. They have first strike. They can attack into the 2/2. Hold on. What are you doing? I would take out... Can't take out Syndic. King Apparitions are good. Shocks. What do Shocks do? They can kill some of the guys, but they can get a lot of the guys right back. Flyers are really good. Scarlet Legionnaires are good. Alright, I would just... Don't bring in Celestial Flare. You're the attacking deck. Obviously. He has shown that he's playing bad removal spells, Electricity. Like, you just blanket when you take out your Loyal Pegasus, right? So he has to play 2 spells to just kill your 2-drops. So what do? Cut the 4 Celestial Flare. Bring those 4 Wojak Halberdiers back in. And then bring in... I'd bring in the... I would take out probably all 4 Shocks. Bring in 2 Beckon Apparition, 2 Chandra's Outrage. Beckon Apparition, it's a flyer. It does get killed by Electricity, but it stops him from getting back some of his creatures, which is good. I can also see taking out the Shocks and bringing in all the Chandra's Outrages. Look how late that game went. Do you think top decking burn spells that kill his creatures and deal him 2 extra damage would be helpful? It's kind of a no-brainer. Yes, it would be helpful. Especially when all he needs to do is Spear Point Oriad, Nyxborn Shield made it, now he has a 3/4. How do you ever attack into that? Can you? No. Not with Lightning Strike, you know, not with Shock, you know, the only way that you can attack into it is with a battalion Wojak Halberdiers, and, you know, it's the only way you're dealing combat damage to that creature if it blocks. Alright, anyway, this hand looks very good. In general, with aggro decks in Standard Pauper, there's not a chance you want to risk getting flooded. You'd rather be mana screwed, because you can cast 4 cards in your hand right now. Any land is good. The only bad spells right now are 3-drops, which are, you know, whatever. Alright, so in my deck, Celestial Flare equals Wojak Halberdier. So, I would have played the Syndic, attacked with it, then I would have played Wojak Halberdier. I would not have played Syndic of Ties. Basically, since we're mana screwed, the fact that we can extort twice now is completely irrelevant. You don't have enough mana. So what you want to do is put a 3-power guy in play, because it deals more damage. Assuming that our opponent, you know, can't kill it right now. The thing is, he just showed us that he didn't have Celestial Flare in hand. He doesn't have any 1-drops worth playing. He might have Shield Mate or Helpful Eidolon, but he probably doesn't have Auramancer. He doesn't have Or maybe he has a spear point here. Yep. So I guess in this scenario, it's fine to shock it, extort for 1, and attack for 4. Yeah. See, again, in my line, if you take into account my sideboarding differences, I'd be attacking for 5 with my Wojak, and we still would have extorted for 1 this turn since we only have 1 white mana. The Celestial Flare is a card that you don't want to bring in very often either, if you think about it. Double white's hard, you don't cast it in the early game very often. It's really only there to kill creatures that have hexproof that you can't kill otherwise, or like let's say we have a lot of removal so we can kill all their guys, or stall them on the ground, but they have a big flyer that we can't ever beat, like a Wingstreet Rider. Like I haven't even seen Wingstreet Rider out of this guy. Then you want a Celestial Flare. Alright, Lightning Strike, double extort, beat for 4. He didn't have God's Willing, he didn't have anything, he's basically just dead. We have another Haste Guy plus an extort. We have Lightning Strike for the straight burn. This game just went kill your guy, attack, kill your guy, attack, kill your guy, attack. Like, it was just like very, very easy. So our opponent has Celestial Flare up. What do? See, if you Lightning Strike attack with both, you lose a Syndic, and that's like bad. If anything, Syndic is just worth so much because our opponent can't beat it if it just sits in play. And the only cards he has is Fall of the Hammer to really kill it. So what's really interesting here is I am totally fine with just passing the turn. Basically seeing if our opponent thinks we have nothing good to cast and just goes for the Fall of the Hammer. So we can again get a 2-for-1 out of him, Lightning Strike his guy, extort, and then attack for 4 the next turn. Because if you go for it this turn, we're going to lose a guy to Celestial Flare. We'll deal him 2 and 1 extort, but it's not that good. I guess it's fine because we do have Skull Cleaver as backup, but you're really seeing like how bad this Celestial Flare is. If it was just like any creature, we'd be just like insanely ahead. Alright. What is he doing? Is he just Lightning Strike? Okay. I am actually totally fine with that play, but why on earth would you main phase it? Now, think about this. Yeah, if he had another mountain. He draws mountain here, and he goes double Fall of the Hammer. Kill both your Syndics. Like, you kind of need to be thinking about worst case scenario. Right, you can't attack with both. You know he has Celestial Flare. And if he doesn't, I guess that's game. But that's such a risky attack. Yeah. Oh my gosh, oh. I was like, dude, if he has the flare, of course, why would you attack into that? Interesting, so unnecessarily risky, but also doesn't necessarily matter because you could Skull Cleaver, but if you look at our hand here, if you attack with both and he has flare, Syndic gets flared, then he moves to blocks, eats our guy, he's at 2 life. Skull Cleaver is now not lethal because he has a 2/2 back to block. So, what do? You play Skull Cleaver, then you go to God's Will and get pro red to get through. Still dies to him if he has another Celestial Flare, and dies in response if he has Fall the Hammer. And now you're stuck in the same spot that you're in last game for no reason, because you just say go next turn and start extorting him to death. You play Skull Cleaver, attack with all 3 of your guys, and then he's definitely dead. With God's, or don't even extort, just have God's Willing open. Very interesting. You know, I hope that kind of just watching me walk through these replays is helpful, just to see what I think, how I would play the deck, how I would sideboard with it, try to get people to be just a little bit more specific and tight with their play, so that, you know, you just gain those edges. That's all you're trying to do. Like, there's no card in Standard Pauper that's just like so broken that it's unbeatable. There's answers to everything, and so the tighter that you can play and the little edges you can, the little information you can gain, the more information you can gain, the better you're going to be, you know, in these matchups and in the future. But definitely want to say big props to Brennan for running this gauntlet. It's super interesting to me. You know, happy to support it and make some decks and try to create some analysis where we, you know, try to improve our game. You know, if you guys have any suggestions for me, I know my fan is loud as heck. I know I'm supposed to be getting a headphone with better mic for audio recording stuff. I just wanted to do this video when I had some time. I've been pretty busy lately, so hopefully the quality should be improving soon. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be back with Dimir Mill and the Cyclops combo deck. Alright, Japrui out.